What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Sinister Silhouettes. This is Tasha, and I am here because I was just made aware of something that was extremely disturbing. Some extremely disturbing set of activities that happened in the beginning of July, so July 6th of 2024. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna get anybody in here. I'm gonna at least try to give it a couple of minutes before I begin talking about this case. This is extremely disturbing. Um, I don't even know the words to use to talk about how outrageous I think the situation is. And look, we are in 2024 election year. I would not be shocked or surprised if we start to see more more coverage of these kinds of events because of course it's almost like a political talking point at this point in the game, but it's a talking point, but it is not nothing being done about it. It's just whoever has the prettiest, most flowery language to address this situation, that this, oh, this situation happened and it's a shame and we're going to do this and this. There is so much conversation, but I'm noticing that there's very little being done. It's like it's something good to talk about in an election cycle, and there it's being covered a lot. And I think that because it's an election cycle, that has a lot to do with it. Of course, you've got people who are going to make a little bit more noise about it nowadays than we had before. But it still boils down to me that it's easier to talk about this now because votes votes are hinging upon this. I'm going to get a bottle of water really quick and I'll be right back. Yeah, it's pretty. Again, there is there's video footage of the case that I'm about to talk to you about. That is the body worn camera footage from two officers who were involved in the shooting of Miss Sonia Massey from Springfield, Illinois. There's an awful lot about this video that kind of is like I continuously say, that disturbs me. But the first part of what disturbs me is how normal everything seemed up until the point of this shooting. It just seemed so routine that you will never, ever imagine uh, somebody losing their life behind this. And yet here we are. The second part of it that is disturbing is, it actually caught the moment of this woman's demise. So we have a woman who just a few minutes before was very alive, very, she was animated in 3D and she was alive, then just moments later she's gone. And it just, I guess, makes me grapple kind of with my own mortality, how quickly these things can happen. Okay, so we go from the routineness of the situation to the next part being how freaking jarring it is to see that happen to someone and know that they're not getting up from that. This is not TV. You're not going to see this woman next week in another sitcom or another series. She's gone. The third part that was very disturbing to me. In fact, it is the most egregious part of this situation was the behavior of one of the officers after the shooting. In fact, it was the shooting officer. His not behavior, yeah, behavior and his words. And the words are what really effed me up. The words that he used, the way that he spoke about the victim of this shooting, um, it just made me feel like he saw her as less than human. And no, he never said that. Um, you don't have to when so much of what you say is uh it's just bleeding of contempt. Now there are other. I'm so disturbed. It's like I heard about this earlier today. One of my friends, Sandra, told me about the situation earlier today. Then, as I was perusing Facebook, I saw this lady, and I was like, "This kind of looks like the depiction in this caption or the thumbnail. Kind of looked like the story that Lysandra was telling me about." So I said, "Well, let me look at this video," and I saw what many other people have seen, and I am I'm hurt and disgusted by what I saw. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get anybody in here today. Uh, but I still need to talk about this. So if you find this on a replay, hey, and stick around with me as we talk about and discuss the shooting of Sonia Massey from Springfield, Illinois. So before we get into it, I'm going to share parts. I'm not going to share the entire body cam footage because, as I said, it's a horrible thing to watch. I almost wish I didn't see it all. I watched it from the point of the officers arriving at Sonia Massey's home, which on July 6th, Sonia Massey, it was around 12:50 a.m. So at night, she calls the police to report that she's hearing what sounds like a prowler in her backyard. So within, I say, 10 minutes, the police arrive to Sonia Massey's home. They did an outside search of Miss Massey's home, and they didn't find anything. They did find a vehicle that was parked in the driveway of her home, and the windows were smashed out. And I guess they wanted to ask her about that situation. Like, were these windows smashed out before you called the police? Because if not, then somebody was trying to steal this car. So they go to the door, they knock on the door to talk to Miss Massey, um, and ask her a couple questions, and also to tell her that we did perform this perimeter search around your home. We don't find a prowler, and and to ask about that car. This is where we're going to pick up with the footage of, and again, I'm not going to share the entire body worn camera video because a woman was killed in this situation. But I do want to share their interaction leading up to this. So now, as I said before, it was 12:50 when Sonia called the police. It is currently 1:15 their time on July 6th, 2024, where they have already done their search and now they're going to talk to Miss Massey. And so it's 1:15 at that same morning. So 25 minutes after she called the police. And here is the body cam footage. So Miss Massey comes to the door. She called the police. They had knocked on the door for a little while before she came to the door. She came to the door, and one of the first things out of her mouth was, "Please don't hurt me." That is so jarring to me because many people have that kind of innate fear of the police and any interaction with them. And she said, "Please don't hurt me." And now we go on with their further interaction. The police officer says, "Why would we hurt you? You called us." Remember that. Now, to me, in my opinion, she's acting strange. And I don't know Sonia Massey. I didn't know her. So I can't say what would be in or out of character for her. But she is acting strange. It's and I'm a layperson. I don't have any experience or expertise in talking about mental health issues except for the one I got. But it seems like she's mentally ill. And I don't want to put that on anybody, all willy nilly. I'm saying she seems like she's mentally ill just from this interaction. And I think they're getting that from her too. You'll see later in their conversation that one of the officers kind of asks her, "Are you okay mentally?" So we'll get into that now. So now he asks, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" She says no. He said, "Are you okay mentally?" She said, "Yes, I'm taking my medicine." So now at this point, this officer knows that this lady who called them because she heard a prowler is on some type of medication for some type of mental illness. Of course, she doesn't have to explain her mental illness. She didn't even have to say anything about the medication. He asked because as a first responder, if somebody is in mental distress, it would be part of his job to see that they got help. So he's asking all the right questions right now. He is being, even though he's being a bit sarcastic when he talks to her, that's okay. I'll take sarcasm. But then he took that one moment, a human moment, and said, "Are you okay mentally?" She said, "Yes, I took my medicine." And now we're going into the next part of the video. Okay, so her saying somebody brought that car to my driveway and left it, makes them want to walk around again, which it makes this interaction with the police just a little longer. Mind you, this interaction started at 1:15 a.m. It is now 1:17 a.m. and 40 seconds. So they've already been with Miss Massey for roughly 3 minutes, right around or about 3 minutes. They're going to look around her house again. One officer is going to look around her house again. The other officer is going to talk further with Miss Massey. And then you hear all that banging in the background. It's 4th of July, right around the 4th of July. People are still popping fireworks. So it's not gunshots. So Officer 2 has finished looking around the house and he called in the license plate of that vehicle that's sitting in Miss Massey's driveway. It's now 1:18 a.m. Okay, so this is another part of the video that makes me feel like Miss Massey might be going through an episode. And she calls 911 while the police are at the house. So we'll carry on from here. Now, he asked for her last name. All he wants at this point is her name. So he's asking for her last name. She said Massey, and that could have been the end of it, but I don't think he understood her. So now he's like, "Well, give me your ID." Okay, now it's starting to become more and more clear that she's going through something. But remember, the police were never supposed to be in her house. They only came in after Officer Grayson asked, was she having a mental episode? She told him no, she had taken her medicine. They're in there trying to figure out who she is so they can write it on their report. That's all this is supposed to be. So once she said Sonia Massey, that should have been the end. They should be walking out the door. But that's not what happens. Officer 2 talked to her, told her something about that pot that was on the stove. He said, "We don't need a fire around here. We don't need smoke detectors going on around here." So she goes over to the stove and she picks up the pot. Now, this is where shit starts to escalate. I mean, it's further than starts to escalate. It has escalated. It has gone from 0 to 100. She said, "What's the matter?" He said, "You got a big steaming hot pot of water." And she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." I don't, again, we know, or we have already figured, we have already assumed that there is something mentally wrong with this person. So she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And he said, "You better not, I'll fucking shoot you in the face." Okay, let's go from there. And that is where shots were fired. Um, I'm not going to play that part on the stream, okay? But know that the police started their interaction with Miss Massey at 1:15 a.m. By the clock on the body worn footage, it was 1:20 a.m. You can see that yourselves. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it is 1:20. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. This is what makes this so disturbing to me. It started off a regular routine. We're going to walk around your house, check the perimeter of your home, see if there's a prowler. Then it turned into kind of a mental health kind of wellness check. But this whole time, this lady is alive. She's animated. She's moving. She's talking. She's interacting with the police. And then 4 shots later, she's gone. She is gone. So I'm not going to play that part, but I am going to play the aftermath of the shooting. So I'm skipping. You can see this video on any freaking on YouTube or the news or anything else. I don't know if anybody else has the full body cam footage, because if you see a snippet of it, of course it's going to be cut, and it's going to be edited and chopped and screwed and all of that shit. But to see the body cam footage from the beginning of them getting to her home to the end is what makes a huge difference in the case. So depending on what video you may have seen, this one gives us more context. And the context is these officers, or at least Officer Grayson, thought that Miss Massey was going to pick up that pot of water and throw it at him. And even when he said it, even when he said, "I'll fucking shoot you in the face," he was behind a lot of shit. She would have had to run across the room to toss the water. I can understand being concerned because we've already established that she may be mentally ill. I don't understand how it went from "Don't pick up the pot," I mean, "Don't you throw that pot of water on me," to shooting her like that. I think at some point we could have shot her not to kill, but we find out that this is a headshot. This is a headshot. And the aftermath of the shooting begins about here. Now, did you catch that? Officer 2, the one that's the closest to the door, he says, "I'm going to go get my kit," meaning he's going to get his medical kit so that they can begin to render aid to Miss Massey while they wait for the EMTs. But Officer Grayson says, "No, she's done. Let's carry on." And right here, he said, "Let her fucking just." It was almost like he was going to say, "Let her just bleed out." They're not rendering aid. He stopped the second cop from rendering aid. So now it's just like we're just going to watch her die on the floor. She's still breathing. As a matter of fact, second officer goes over to her at one point, and you can hear her still gurgling. She's still alive, but nobody is rendering aid to her because Officer Grayson said no. Okay, so we at we are treated from that point on to Officer Grayson kind of trying to explain why he shot her. He was like, I'm not taking a pot of hot boiling water to the face, but let's take a look at where he was when she had the pot of water. And the shooting occurred at 9 minutes and 4 seconds. So about here. So she goes to get the pot. She got her oven mitts. Look where he's standing. So look how far away from Miss Massey that Officer Grayson was when he started talking to her about shooting her in the face. Marge, yeah, and I gave a warning. I gave a warning before. I'm sorry that you walked in at that moment. That was freaking terrible. I'm sorry. And I'm not gonna play any more of it because it is disturbing. Like I said, um, they shot her. Not they, just Officer Grayson. Officer Grayson shot Miss Massey. When the second officer wanted to render aid, he told him, no, she's done. Then he was like, just let her bleed. And all of this is being caught on the body worn camera footage. This started as a woman who may, because I don't know this to be a fact, she may have had mental health issues. She called the police. She asked, the first thing she said to the police when they got to her house was, please don't hurt me. He shot her because she picked up a pot of boiling water. Yeah. He told her before she picked it up, I'll shoot you right in the fucking face. And she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he took that as part of a threat and he shot her. Then he continued to make excuses as to why he shot her. He kept saying that I'm not taking a pot of water to the face, even though he was clean across the apartment or the house from her. By the time she would have been able to hoist that pot up and sling some water, if that's what she wanted to do, he had opportunity to get the fuck out the way. But he killed this lady. Then when it was called in, somebody called it in as self-inflicted. I am not making this up. What started off as a routine stop because she called and said she had a prowler in her backyard at 1:15 a.m. By 1:20 a.m., Miss Massey was dead. 5 minutes. A 5-minute interaction with the police. And me watching this, of course, it's easier to Monday morning quarterback and all of this stuff. I know this. But I'm sitting here and I can say clearly, it appears that she has some mental health issues. Officer Grayson also must have felt the same way because he asked her, are you okay mentally? She said she took her medicine. So that means that she's taking some kind of medicine for mental illness that's undisclosed. But as an officer or police officer, you would think that means um, to kind of know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone who clearly is mentally unwell. She goes in the house. She rebukes him in the name of Jesus. That's, I guess, a threat. And it's a threat, I guess, if you're a demon. But he thought it was a threat, and he shot her. So now, the aftermath of that, you already know it's about to get wild. And this, I joke and play when I say this month has been the longest year of our life. This month has had so many plot twists, so much stuff that you probably couldn't see coming. But I definitely saw something like this coming. And I'm saying it like, um, I mean, you're right, Marge. He thought a drawn gun would calm her down, even though the first thing she said to him when he walked up to her door was, "Please don't hurt me." So not only was she hurt, the last thing that she saw was, I mean, the last thing that she did in life was say, "I'm sorry" to this police officer and hold her little oven mitts up. And he shot her anyway. Um, I forgot where I was going. Oh, this being the longest year of our life. I knew something like this would happen because, of course, the media must capitalize on these situations. And no, I know that we need all the eyes that we can get on these types of situations, because we hope that every one of these situations is the last one. But no, it's not. And they know it's not. The media knows it's not going to be. Your politicians know that it's not going to be. The constituency should know that this is going to continue to happen until something is done about it. It's the same thing that we say about school shootings and the such. Until somebody does something, legitimately does something about it, instead of talking about it and wishing for hopes and prayer, thoughts and prayers, until somebody really wants to do something about it, this shit gonna keep happening. And I can guarantee you, it's happened far more times than what we're seeing. The probably the only reason we're seeing this one is because it's a woman. Even though we know our last election cycle was filled with the police killing women, and black women especially, and we heard all about it every day, a whole nother hashtag of a whole nother person who lost their lives at the on the other side of a gun that was held by the police. So you have to ask yourself, why are they talking about it now? It's because they want the outrage. They want us to be all pissed off, and they want us to go out there and march in the streets, which I'm sure is going to happen in Springfield, Illinois, and around the nation. I'm pretty sure once more people get their eyes on this body cam footage, there's going to be unrest. So, just to get things straight now, it is by design that they start reporting on these things in these kind of election cycles, especially the big ones with the presidency and stuff. And then it becomes a political talking point. And it's just that. It's just a talking point, because ain't nobody doing shit about it, right? Okay, well, I can honestly say that the Springfield police, they say they're going to do something about it. This time it's not going to be just, oh, he was a police officer who feared for his life. They're like, you at this point you have to you're going to have to answer, because of some of the things that he said after he shot her. He said that she set this whole thing up, that she had that water boiling because she knew that the police were going to come, and they were going to come in her house, and that she had planned this whole damn thing. This is what his thinking is. His thinking is she is she was setting them up, that this whole call was a ruse. But how does she know that they were going to come into her house. If she would have come to the door with a boiling pot of water, then I might be with Officer Grayson. But she didn't come to her door with the boiling pot of water. She didn't even want them in the house. They came in the house just to get her ID. And it went from 0 to 100 so quickly. But this Illinois deputy has been charged with murder. He shot woman in the face and discouraged his partner from trying to save her. And he did. He said, she's done. So it's almost as if he didn't see her as human. Again, I think I said that already, and it's getting hard for me to keep all of my thoughts straight. It's almost like he didn't see her as human. Once he put her whole put the bullet in her head, he was like, she's done. And it's not me saying that. If you want to watch the entire video, I'm not suggesting that anybody does that. But if you want to watch the whole video, it's there. And you can watch it and you can hear him say all these things. You can hear him call her crazy. It's like she's fucking crazy. And she set it up. She wanted to kill these police officers, or she wanted to throw hot water on the police. When the one time you could have caught their asses by surprise and poured water on them is when you opened the door to the police as they were knocking that night. So that doesn't make sense. I don't know what she was doing. And maybe she's like me, in the middle of the night, I might get up and make a pot of grits. And then if something happens and I end up having to call the police, I'm going to make sure I throw them grits down the garbage disposal, because I do not want to give anybody a reason to put a hole in my head like they did to Miss Massey. Today, her family, the family of Sonia Massey, because this happened on July 6th. It is now July 23rd. This body cam footage was released. The police, politicians, everybody knows that there needs to be answers for this. And so the answers are starting to be given, because now there are attorneys involved, and the family held a press conference. They have retained, I forgot the lady attorney's name, and I might be able to pull up the press conference a little later. But there was a lady attorney, and then there was Ben Crump. And everybody knows when something like this happens, he's a civil rights litigator. 9 times out of 10, Ben Crump is going to be involved. And he is, there's no difference. He is nationally known as being the attorney to turn to when a situation like this happens. Now, think about what I just said. He is nationally known for being the attorney to call when a situation like this happens, because it happens so often that it ain't an if, it's just a when. But I can almost guarantee that there have been shootings from the police shooting a citizen that has not been televised. We don't hear about it. We're hearing about this one because, number one, is batshit, the way this stuff went down. And again, living, breathing person. Officer Grayson, at the beginning of this interaction with Miss Massey, seemed like a caring officer. He was concerned about, he did it in a sarcastic manner though, but he was concerned about not only her, about that vehicle in her driveway, and also about her mental health. And he joked a little when he got in the house with her, when he's like, it shouldn't take no thought to tell me your last name. It's sarcastic, but it is still him. It's still him acting within the parameters of the job that he held. He's a public servant, and he was acting as a public servant. And then in just that much time, it went from being concerned about this lady to just gunning her down. And in fairness, when you look at the When you look at the body cam footage in its entirety, he goes out to his car to finally get the med kit because he wanted to. That's another thing. He refused to get the med kit. He didn't let his partner get the med kit. But then closer to the EMTs coming, he went and got the med kit. While he was out there, this man's hands were shaking. This man had to take several deep breaths. He's clearly affected by what happened because it happened so freaking fast. This is not me making an excuse for Officer Grayson. This is just showing that in those moments you saw some humanity. This is a person who just took someone else's life. This is how he responded when he was by himself. But when he was with the other officers, he went back to the bravado. And that is going to be his mistake. That's going to be his undoing. Okay, so reading this article from CBS News. An Illinois sheriff's deputy charged with murder in the death of a Black woman shot her in the face during a tense moment over a pot of water in her home and then discouraged his partner from trying to save her. The details were in a court document filed in support of keeping fired Sangamon. I hate these freaking videos. Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson in custody without bond. Sandra Massey was just 36 years old and was killed in her home in Springfield, about 200 miles south of Chicago, after deputies responded to her 911 call about a possible prowler early on July 6th. Prosecutors said Grayson aggressively yelled at Massey to put down a pot, and then she put her hands in the air, declared, "I'm sorry," and ducked for cover before being shot in the face. And if you have the stomach to watch that video clearly through, all the way through, all of that is just how it happened. Grayson also discouraged the other deputy from getting his medical kit, prosecutors said. The other deputy still rendered aid because he did. The second deputy, deputy number 2, got some towels off of Miss Massey's stove, and he began to try to put pressure on her wounds. The other deputy still rendered aid and stayed with Miss Massey until medical help arrived. First Assistant State's Attorney Mary Rogers wrote, Grayson at no time attempted to render aid to Miss Massey. State's Attorney John Milheiser said a review of body camera footage doesn't support the use of deadly force. And I don't think it did either. There's nothing in that footage that put him in imminent. He wasn't, his life was not in imminent danger. He was standing far enough away from her that he could have gone out the door before she would have been able to throw that water on him, if that is what she intended on doing. But anyway, Grayson was indicted on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. Now, official misconduct should be a very easy guilty. Should be very easy. Grayson, who was white, was in custody awaiting a court appearance Thursday. Defense attorney Dan Foltz declined to comment. So that's his attorney. Sheriff Jack Campbell said Grayson has been fired. It is clear that the deputy did not act as trained or in accordance with our standards. With our badge, we accept enormous responsibility. And if that responsibility is abused, there should be consequences. Ben Crump, I talked to you guys about him before, is an attorney for Massey's family, and he said the charges were a step toward justice for Sonia's loved ones, especially her children, who have endured unimaginable pain and suffering since they were notified of this tragedy. Because when they were notified of the tragedy, nobody explained to them how this shit occurred. They only told them that the mother had been shot, but they didn't tell her family how this shooting took place and that it was officer involved. As many as 200 people gathered Wednesday at the Springfield NAACP building to express support for Massey and her family. Massey's family was inside the NAACP building to view body camera footage of the shooting. The Sangamon County Sheriff's Office announced the body cam video would be released Monday morning, the station reported. The footage will be unredacted besides certain images out of respect for Massey's family, citing the state's attorney office. In a statement, Attorney Ben Crump, who represents Massey's family, called the indictment an important milestone in the pursuit of justice. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker also reacted to the charges. I am enraged that another innocent Black woman had her life taken from her at the hands of a police officer. I'm grateful to the Springfield State's Attorney's Office for bringing the appropriate charges in this case. May Sonia Massey's memory be a blessing, and may it fuel our work to build a system of justice in this country that truly protects all of its citizens. Yes, my heart goes out to him too, because it's absolutely unimaginable. It's unimaginable. If you watch that again, it's just so jarring. It's just like if you guys watching me sitting here talking and interacting and all of this, and in the next minute, I'm gone. That's just how jarring that was. And I didn't know that I was going to end up seeing it all. I thought this was a mostly redacted body cam footage, but as Ben Crump said, it's only a little bit of it that is redacted. She picked the pot up. She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he took that as a threat. And he took that lady's life. And there's no coming back from this. Her family will never, I will never. And please don't think I'm playing. This is not hyperbole. I'm not just saying it for the shits and the giggles. I am afraid of interacting with any police. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not a criminal in any way, shape, or form. There would be no reason for the police to shoot me, kill me. But I've also seen other people who were law-abiding citizens who were doing nothing wrong in the moment. And I saw police kill them. And that ain't just white police. Remember Tyree Nichols? Was that last year before last? Tyree Nichols was stomped to death by a bunch of Black officers. The problem is unchecked authority. And let's just, for one moment, think about authority. The police are public servants. The last time I looked, I'm part of the public because I don't work for the police. I don't work for it in those organizations. So public servants, they are supposed to serve us. We are not supposed to serve them. And yet they seem to abuse their authority, their responsibility to look out for the best interest of their community. Because you cannot be serving the community if you are killing their brothers, sisters, mothers, cousins, friends. That's not how you serve. And many police officers, Black, white, Latino, and whatever else, many of them feel like we serve them. They've got the gun, they've got the badge. We're supposed to do exactly what they say. We're supposed to comply. And the thing is, even when you comply, you get shot. You saw Miss Massey. Yeah, she was fucking around with a pot on the stove. And yeah, she said some crazy, I'll rebuke you in the name of Jesus. But when she was shot, was her hands up with the oven mitts? Wasn't her hands up? So at this point, she's no longer a danger. And I got to make sure, because the first time I watched it, I thought maybe she didn't comply at all. Maybe she still had that pot in her hands. But then when I look at it, I'm like, no, she complied. She did exactly what he asked her to do. Um, she just bumbled around doing it. Let's see. Because I'm gonna please let me stop this in time to not see the actual shooting again. Um, why did the officer even enter the house? Okay, so it started off. She saw or she reported that there was a prowler around her house. The police, after they searched outside and everything, they came and they knocked on the door. And I guess they were saying, pretty much, we didn't find anything. We just wanted to let you know that we did come, but we didn't see anything. And then they asked about a car that was in her driveway. The car in her driveway had windows busted out. So I think this was unsaid, but I think they were trying to make sure that somebody wasn't out there and was trying to steal that car or steal something out of the car. So they came to the door to say, "Hey, whose car is that?" But she was acting off from the very beginning. It was a very strange interaction, but that is when he said, they said they were going to leave, but they ended up not leaving. And Officer Grayson asked, "Are you mentally okay?" And she said, "Yes, I took my medicine." He was like, "Let me get your name. Let me get your ID so that I can put it on this report." And she went in the house. He followed her in the house. And then the other officer came around and went in the house with them. So now she's sitting on the couch and they letting her go through all these bags and purses and whatnot. So it's almost as if they weren't they weren't threatened by her. And then plus she's a slight little woman. You see how small she was. So she's a slight little woman until Officer 2 tells her to go check that pot because they didn't need fire alarms going off. And she was like, yeah, she gets up and she goes to check the pot. And then this is when all of that rest of that stuff happened. But how they ended up in the house was Officer Grayson wanted an ID. Thing is, he could have stood outside. He could have stood outside, and none of this would have happened had he not gone in the house. And this is not, yeah, it is his fault. But the things that led up to them being in the house, to me, wasn't anything to be. Uh, as a matter of fact, had this shooting not happened, and had people watched the body cam footage of the way they interacted with Miss Massey, yes, Officer Grayson was sarcastic, but he did his job. They went around the house, they searched the backyard, they made contact with her to make sure she was okay, and then he asked about her mental health. That is what you want an officer to do. But if you are so squeamish that once you get inside the house, a pot of water scares the shit out of you, then you might not need a gun. This was a problem. And there are other things. What is this young man's whole name? So I'm going to look his name up because there was other reports about him in another jurisdiction. So here we are. This one is coming from a WGN, and I'm just going to read the article really quick because it says an Illinois sheriff's deputy charged with murder in the death of a black woman shot her in the face during a tense moment. Well, we talked about that part. Uh, nope, that's not the right. I was reading y'all the same article. I apologize. The terminated Sangamon County Sheriff's Office deputy involved in the shooting death of Sonia Massey worked at 6 different law enforcement agencies in the last 4 years. So there's your problem. Since August of 2020, Sean Grayson worked less than a year at the Auburn, Illinois Police Department, 1 year at the Logan County, Illinois Sheriff's Office, and then just over a year with the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. Grayson was arrested twice for Class A misdemeanor DUIs, once in 2015, once in 2016. There was all these red flags, and yet they still made him a deputy in Sangamon County, said James Wilburn. That is the father of Sonia Massey. Massey was killed in the early morning hours of July 6th. We talked about that. The grand jury indicted Grayson, who is 30 years old. He's a young man, and he has pleaded not guilty. The Sangamon County Sheriff's Office acknowledged that it knew about Grayson's 2 DUIs when it hired him. The county conducts criminal background checks on all employees before hiring them. But the sheriff's office told this news outlet it was not aware of any complaints of excessive force during Grayson's previous stints in law enforcement. So this news agency, WCIA, has multiple Freedom of Information Act requests out to get Grayson's previous employers for more information on his departures from previous jobs. According to WCIA, state records show he resigned and started new jobs shortly after leaving previous ones, sometimes the next day. County officials told WCIA that to their knowledge, Grayson had not been fired from any previous jobs. He was fired from this job, though, and he is still being held in Sangamon County Jail without bond. If convicted, he faces prison sentences of 45 years to life for murder, 6 to 30 years for battery, and 2 to 5 years for misconduct. I can guarantee you that, yes, these are red flags. Now, this is not to say, because again, they said that they don't have any evidence that he did anything, had these types of excessive force complaints, but you can guarantee, bet your bottom dollar, that if there's anybody out there who had a negative interaction with Officer Grayson, we're going to start hearing about it. So right now, it looks like he may have just been staying ahead of what do you call it when you're getting written up, of write-ups. So for instance, if I'm on my 3rd write-up, and I know you only get 4, and I'm on my 3rd write-up, I might want to start looking for another job, even if his infractions were not involving the public. You only want somebody who is able to follow the rules to the letter, being a police officer. And now, looking at the entire body cam footage, seeing him towards the end, he was in the back of his cruiser in the trunk, getting Clorox wipes and wiping his hands, but the man's hands were shaking like leaves, and he was breathing so hard. This clearly affected him. It's just that when he came back around other officers, he had to put that bravado back on. And I'm telling you, that's your undoing, because if you would have shown complete that I can't believe this shit happened, people might feel a little less judgmental. But because you could turn it on and off so quickly, it almost looks sociopathic, and that is, if I were on the grand jury, that would have been something that made me say, maybe we need to look a little bit more at this officer, because that's weird. Why would you act like everything's all good when it's not? You just killed somebody. This is somebody you were just talking to just a couple of minutes ago. The interaction with Miss Massey was only 5 minutes long. So 5 minutes ago, literally, you killed somebody. And the only time that you can almost act human about it is when nobody else was looking. When you come back in, it's like this bitch was crazy. I wish I could find, and maybe I can. Let me see if I can find the part where he said that, because I'm telling you, if I were on a grand jury, that would be his undoing for me. And the fact that he didn't let his partner go and render aid to her. That was very problematic to me as well.
She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it. God, fuck. Dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water in the fucking head. And look, it fucking came right to our feet, too. God damn it.
Fuck. God damn it.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. What's she got? Let her fucking just... God, there's nothing we can do, man.
Fuck.
You good? All right. Fuck. Well, I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to the fucking face, and it already reached us.
Fuck. They got a 52 en route?
Yeah, 1078.
Whoa. They're showing it again. I didn't want to see that again. I really just want the aftermath. Second officer's thoughts his immediate thought was, I'm going to get my med kit. So his immediate thought was, okay, you shot her. We need to render aid. Officer Grayson tells him not to go get the med kit because it's done. She's gone. That's a headshot. Second officer also was the one who went and got the towels off of her kitchen area, and started applying pressure to the wounds. But they didn't. As you said, it makes sense. The first thing this should have been done. Officer 2 should go get the med kit. Officer 1 needed to call it in for an EMT. It took another 2 or 3 minutes for that to happen. But we're going to play it because right now it's 2 minutes after the gunshot. Gunshot occurred at like 1:20 a.m. Now it's 1:21 and 55 seconds. So,
well, I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to the fucking face, and it already reached us.
They got a 52 en route?
Yeah, 1078. They're 18. She's still breathing, but she's losing a lot of blood from the head.
But nobody's walking towards her.
I'll go get my med kit. I mean,
122.
I mean, there's not much we can do.
It's been 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes since they shot her.
Fuck.
Watch the plan in this instance.
318, do we got any call history with her being 1096?
ambulance and police.
I'll explain why. Negative. She's in the kitchen. Just Sergeant, who, no. Let's just chill out here. Just Sarge right now.
Are you guys secure?
Yeah, we're secure.
Back covered?
No, it's just her in the house. She's 1096.
I don't know all the
Anything
jargon.
you think we can do for? No. All right. I'm not even going to waste my med stuff then.
He's not going to waste
You want
his
to run down
meds.
real quick?
Nope, not yet.
All right. House is clear. She was the only one.
Where's he going?
No, she had a boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah.
So see,
She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all.
when it was called in originally, somebody called it in as self-inflicted. And that is why this officer asked, where's the gun? Because he didn't know that it was Officer Grayson's service weapon that fired the shot.
All this is. I was standing right here.
All right.
And that's where she's landed.
And
What do y'all need from us?
Just nothing right now. Just hang out there for me. Thank you.
I need crimes and put them around the house if you guys can. But other than that, that's thank you.
Anything else suspect?
Me.
I didn't know what happened.
so again, all of these officers out here are unaware. They're like, do we have a suspect? And that's when he said me, because they all thought this was either because it was called in self-inflicted, but they also were thinking somebody else had to be involved. And nope, it's your guy.
Yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy.
Yeah, I'm good. Fucking bitch is crazy. That's not, you're not getting any points for that with the public. You know, yeah, he could have even said that in a more contrite manner. Anytime you take somebody's life, even if they batshit nuts, you can say they were mentally ill. If I can say the two words mentally ill, he can too. And that's just disrespecting this lady after she's gone already.
Who's got tape?
I think I got a roll.
I got something coming up.
Now, I think this is where he goes to the car, he's looking for the tape. And you'll see. Yeah, you ain't gonna
You got
be no
enough? If
officer
not, I
there.
got a roll.
Watch how he moves. No, that ain't even it. I wonder if that's the other guy's body cam. Then let me look, because whoever that was, and I'm thinking we'll see them soon.
Right here. Where do you want it?
They were
Just around
beside
the house.
themselves, and it may have been officer number
Yes, you go
2.
inside.
His body cam might have been what I was seeing with somebody who is truly troubled by what happened.
That's good.
Just imagine showing up at your loved one's home and it's freaking yellow crime scene tape all around the house. And that EMT, and I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe when you watch it, Marge, a little later, you'll even hear the EMT. She was like, I think this lady's name is Sonia. We were here earlier. I think she said that. So if you watch it and you let me know, because I don't know how many more times I'm gonna be able to watch this. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch this again.
send it to him out.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Inside with me. He's good. Yeah.
That's
I
fine.
don't think
I
that
didn't
young
know-
man.
I didn't know it was
No, dude, it's good. It fucking happened so goddamn quick that we didn't have time to fucking call shit out that it was me. And
Yeah, that's what I
Good
was trying to
shit.
figure out. Make sure we need to look for someone.
no, we're good. I think she set it up on purpose. So,
Did you hear that?
it is.
She set it up on purpose.
He said don't go in.
I have fucking choice.
Try not to move that bag. We'll take her out on a backboard so you don't have to move that.
Yeah, he's good, dude. I made sure he was good. Yeah, he was here for the whole thing.
No, did he get hit?
No. We barely got missed.
Nobody got hit. So he makes it sound like she was close to them with that pot of water. The only reason he got water on his shoes is because she dropped the pan and put her hands up. Oh, it just bothers me that I heard that. It just bothers me that I heard him say that.
I'll holler at him later.
Hey guys, grab the backboard. We're flying on this one.
I'm gonna chill in my car. I'm gonna chill in my car for a minute.
Okay. This is when I think we see the kind of breakdown. But even though, isn't that just a weird thing to say? You just killed somebody and you said, I'm gonna go chill in my car. I would have been like, I need to go collect myself. And again, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking how a person should react, and people react to shit in different ways. So I don't want to sound heartless because his words don't match what my words would have been or the way I'm thinking. But just that even sounds dismissive. I'm gonna go chill in my car, but okay. But when he gets to the car, we see what he really feels like. If this is his body cam that I'm seeing.
I got it. So my car. Camera off. Turn off. Camera's off.
Oh, they didn't play it. They didn't play it. You'll see it. You might have to watch a different version of this body cam footage because they didn't show it. But you're right. He won't be Officer Grayson. He will be inmate number XYZ123. But the end of the day, he did himself no favors. And by looking at this, and I don't know what the racial makeup of Springfield, Illinois is. I know where it is, but I don't know what the let me see if racial demographics, because and it only makes sense because I didn't see not one black police officer. So yep, as of 2022, the racial demographics of Springfield are 70% white and 20% black, and then it gets smaller from there. So so the police force will be primarily white, mostly because it is a mostly white area. You still would like to see, especially in a situation that turns out like this, you still would like to see some diversity. But because the first thing people are going to say is that he's a racist cop. He didn't strike me as racist. I could be wrong. He might be the biggest racist in the world. He didn't strike me as racist. He struck me as scared. And if you have that much fear of the people that you're supposed to be serving, you don't need to be serving them. Hence, why I stay in the house damn near 24/7. I don't go too far. You might see me I used to be out in I used to work in fast food. I used to work in the casino industry. I've worked in a lot of places, done a lot of things. And now people scare me. And I stay the F away from people. You see how that works? I don't walk around with a gun because I'm already scared. So, how many steps would it be for me to take before I think somebody is a threat? I'm already afraid. Now, if you are a person who is who is not used to dealing with Black people, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus is like, to some people, it's a joke. If you said, "Oh, Tasha, why don't you get back with your ex?" And I say, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Ha ha, that's a joke. But because you are not used to dealing with these people, then you don't know how we play. And she could have been me. She could have meant it as a threat. But I don't know how threatened I would have been. The size of Officer Grayson, that's a big dude. I wouldn't be scared of no little 100 and what they say, 125-pound, 5'1". I wouldn't be afraid of her. I would stomp her ass. As a matter of fact, you might burn me a little bit, but before I shoot you, it was too many other things that he could have done in that situation. He says that he was, he told the officer that he was reporting to that where he was standing. He wasn't even standing there the first time she said that. He was standing on the other side of the room divider, right? So there was enough space for him. He was closer to the door than he was to her. So he could have left. I don't understand. I don't understand how he could have been afraid of her. And I just don't get it. And I don't want to indict every police officer because that's stupid. Every police officer is not Officer Grayson. Hell, at the beginning of this whole interaction, I didn't think Officer Grayson was Officer Grayson. I didn't think that he would have been the one to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? I thought it would be the one who wasn't interacting with her the most. But nope. That's the one that was trying to render aid, and it's about to get real crazy in the US. Once again, we're gonna have another one of those summers, another one of the lead ups to March, because this all just happened. I don't even know if they have a trial date yet, because the event happened on July 6th. Let me think. When was he put in jail? I know the thing happened on July 6th. And I got a whole bunch of timeline, but I don't have when they put him in jail, because it wasn't immediate, right? It was after they reviewed the body cam and saw all of this. The family is so freaking President Biden spoke on this, and they actually said that the DOJ is going to be looking into it as well. Damn. I can't. I don't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I think it was July 18th where he went when he went to when they locked him up, when they charged him and locked him up. Yeah. So all of this is so brand new. This is like 5 days ago that he got locked up. So I got a feeling it's going to be a little while, but I'm going to be interested in seeing. And of course, I don't know if this is one of those trials that will be televised, or whether or not it's televised. We can still probably follow along with news coverage. This is going to be something that I'm going to keep my eye on, because I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This month has been literally insane. Have you, okay, politics. March, you said it in the Discord though, girl. You were saying Oh, here comes the misogynist stuff and all of this. And look, I get it. Honestly, I was one of the people long before the debates and everything else. I've been saying that we need younger candidates. Donald Trump and Joe Biden, no matter how you feel about them, they're still damn it 80 years old. They do not need to be forming policy for the future when and it's going to sound mean, but they're not going to be the ones to inherit the mess of the policy. You get what I'm saying? I like Kamala Harris. I like her chances against Trump, and he doesn't think she has a chance. But I like her chances against Trump. But have you noticed that they're pulling out people now to try to slander her? And the best they could come up with yesterday was that she used to date Montel Williams. And if you remember who Montel Williams is, he was a talk show host back in the, was it late 90s, early aughts? How about I look it up? But so they pull out a picture of Montel Williams and Kamala Harris when they dated 20 plus years ago and said, look, she's with Montel Williams and another woman. And the other woman was his daughter. So to them, in their eyes, and the them that I'm talking about is these kind of racist, conservatives. They tried to make it seem like she was in a throuple with Montel Williams and just overlooked the fact that this was this man's daughter. So yes, you were correct. The misogynistic shit is starting. You are 100% correct, because I've got a friend, and BT Dubs, I'm not one of those people who think, oh, you're a Democrat, I can't talk to you. No. Or, oh, you're a Republican. Oh, no, we can't be friends. I can be friends with anyone, right? I can be friends with anyone. I don't have to agree with you politically. I don't have to agree with you about religion. I don't have to agree with you, period. I don't have to agree with you. We can agree on something like Star Trek. We can agree on stuff like that. And that's, I know that this is where our friendship, this is how we've become friends. And this is, we keep our conversation to Star Trek. And I don't bring up this other stuff because I don't want to lose respect for my friend over something as trivial as politics. But Montel Williams, but you were right. Kamala Harris is getting attacked, and the best attack again they had was this situation with Montel Williams. If I had to vote tomorrow, based on what I know today, I would vote Kamala Harris. There's not a scenario. There is no scenario in the world where I would vote for Trump. And the reason why is not just because of his wicked politics or his wicked ways. It's because I fundamentally believe the man is too goddamn old to run this country. The guy that he's got running with him is a younger dude. So it kind of bolsters him. Kamala needs just a maybe male. Yeah, because arguments today with friend was about oh, but she locked up all those black people, blah blah blah. I'm like, so let me get this straight. She locked up black people over the drug laws or marijuana laws or whatever in California, and she threw the book at them. So we have a woman who is mixed with black, okay, and she goes to college to historically black college to be an attorney. She pledges a historic sorority, and she is sister. I can't do the little sign because they'll get me, but she is sisters with a slew of prestigious black women as far as their sororities. I don't agree with sororities and fraternities, but if it floats they boat, they like it. I love it for them. She has pledged this sorority. She went to a historically black college. If nothing else, when somebody looks at her, they immediately think black, right? You mean to tell me that a person who did all of that, because they got this position, is supposed to suddenly say, I don't want to do my job because these are black people? I don't get why would you be mad at a person who did their job too damn good? That was her job. Now, if we want to talk shit, say stop giving her work. Stop giving her work. Don't give her any work. She doesn't need, and then she wouldn't have been able to make a name for herself off of the backs of black people. So do I wish it would have been different? That it wouldn't just, most people think she was only throwing a book at black people. Yeah, I wish it would have been different, but it ain't no different. She did her job. She did it well. And that's how she moved up into the places that she is at now. So now all of a sudden, we're supposed to hold against her the job that she did, and she did too well. Y'all just tell me anything. Just say you're a freaking misogynist. Just say that. I'll buy that before I'm a buy that you're mad at somebody for doing their goddamn job. I mean, really. And I'm not talking about policing, but she was one of the top cops. Now, if like I know, Kamala Harris needs to make it part of her platform. What are we going to do to make sure that these officers that are involved in these shootings of people who are unarmed and that are posing zero threat to them, she needs to make part of her platform what the plan is for that. And we also need a plan on what we're going to do to keep these children safe in the schools, in public, or keep us all safe in public places from mass shootings. Because once again, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world, but the same stuff keeps happening here. And it doesn't seem, all we keep getting is hugs and kisses, thoughts and prayers. What are we going to do besides that? Because I'm sick of freaking kissing and hugging and thinking and praying. Now it's time to make action. And that needs to be a part of her platform, to me. Because I need to know what's in it for me to vote for you. Besides the fact that I wouldn't be voting for somebody who I think is a creep. Okay. So it's either I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris or I'm not going to vote. So Kamala, what are we doing? What are we going to do to you can never ensure that this will never happen again. We can't ensure that. That's not something that's within her control. But of the things that are within your control and your Senate and your House, the thing, what are we going to do? Because we can't keep you can't use it as a political talking point unless you have some kind of solution. Something. We're gonna have a very long next 3 months. August, September, October, 4 months. Right? It's gonna be a very long 4 months. Her first book is titled Smart on Crime, A Career Prosecutor's Plan to Make Us Safer. Well, I might need to get that book. I got a couple of Audible credits and I need to use before they expire. I need to get the book because I want to not only be informed about the fact, just because she fits um my criteria of a person. It could be somebody slightly older than her, but not too much older than her. Because Kamala Harris is about my age, right? She's a little older than me. She's 59. So yeah, I like that. You say it was published in 2008, so it may be out of date. Look, I'm gonna pull up when I get off the phone. Phone. It's like we on the phone because it's only me and you talking. When I'm through talking with you, I'm gonna jump on. I wish we were on the phone, Marge, but yeah, I'm going to look up her books, things that she's written, and I might give it a listen. I'm extremely now. I'm afraid for her because this political climate is absolutely batshit nuts right now. But I'm also optimistic. And I don't know, Marge, I don't think you were following me during the last election for president when they won, when Biden and Kamala Harris won. I jumped on my camera and I just cried. I just cried because I was so afraid of another Trump presidency. And I'm still, it fuels my anxiety just thinking about what might happen. Things haven't even happened. I'm thinking about these things and it is scary to me. And that night when they announced that they won, I cried like a baby on camera. It was like I'm just so mentally I was so mentally relieved. You too, and you ain't even were you here when that happened? I'm about to say because you ain't even here, but it still affects it because we're all on the same continent. What the crazy stuff that happens in the middle is going to affect the people above us, and it's going to affect the people under us. But if Trump were to win, Marge, I'd be asking you if you are looking for a roommate because, baby, I can't be here. I cannot be here if he wins. But I think I like her chances. He's dismissing her and saying that she's going to be easier to beat. But, baby, she got a nation behind her. She's got some people behind her. And if she has a true to life plan, she can get because black women, me too. Me too. And I'm so afraid of what's going to happen next, Marge. I'm afraid. I'm anxious about this whole thing. But the people we need to get behind Kamala Harris would be the same people that Trump is trying to woo on his side, which would be the suburban white woman, suburban housewives. They need to have a reason to vote for Kamala Harris. And I would think the whole reproductive rights would be enough. And but it might not be. That might not be enough. We might need a little bit more to bring them in. Because a lot of them, if their husband votes one way, they generally will vote that way, even if that way is not in their best interest. But yeah, this is and I'm again, we presuming that she is the Democratic nominee. They can still pull the rug out from up under us at the DNC. We're gonna cross our fingers and hope it doesn't happen. Yeah. The gratification. See, I didn't even see all this. Oh my goodness. Now they're talking about childless cat ladies. Childless cat ladies. She's raising her husband, or she's helped with her husband's children. She is a stepmother, and they count her as a stepmother. But now they're talking about childless cat lady. Lord have mercy. I tell you. JD Vance, the running mate of Donald Trump, said people without children don't have a direct stake in the future of this country. Isn't that just fucking insane? You a childless cat lady. I'm a cat lady with children, with a child. Oh gosh. But he said people without children don't have a direct stake in the future of this country. And that just brought the cat ladies out. The cat ladies are now fully behind Kamala Harris. Oh gosh. And people are like, you might have effed up, because the misogyny can backfire. Misogyny can backfire when you step on the wrong toes, because a lot of these women, again, they will go along with party or their man or whoever their cult leader is in the moment. See you later, Marge, because now that you're gone, I'm through talking too, girl. I'm through. I had to jump on here and say something, though. I appreciate you for being with me. So yeah, I'll see everybody in the next one. Tell me what you think in the comments about this situation with Sandra Massey. So sorry. And my heart goes out to her family, because there is absolutely nothing that I can say that's going to make this less hurtful. But I can say that we need to use our votes and our voice and our power to make sure that this is not the norm again. This is not something that people are going to be able to campaign on without giving us a solution. And thanks for being here. I will see you in the next one. Peace.